Oh, hello, and boy, oh boy, do I have something to say. This is our first guest in the month of March. And do you know what the month of March is? Women's History Month. Woohoo! Women making history, baby. We've come a long way, and we have a lot more to go. And what perfect guest to bring on but Susan Sandler. Ah, I love this woman. She's a dear, dear friend of mine. Love her to death. I was reading from her website all the things she does, and it just brought happy tears to my face. She is a TEDx speaker, a theatrical keynote speaker, a clarity strategist, an author. And she's inspiring and guiding people in midlife to punch fear in the face and take the brave next steps that will bring their dreams to life. Welcome! I'm so happy you're here. My first guest in Women's History Month. Can you believe it?
I can't believe it. We're history makers too.
We are, baby. You know, I say that all the time. You know, every single woman that comes on the show, they're making an impact in their world, in their community, in their home with their friends, whether it's big or small. And I know firsthand, yours is big, baby. It's big. So I want to jump right into it because your topic we've never had on before. Don't waste a crisis. Okay. Okay. All right, girlfriend, we're not going to waste a crisis. I need to hear more because I'm sure this is about reframing it, you know, seeing what we can get out of it. But while we're in it,
Yeah. So in my role as helping organizations and individuals and organizations change, and having been part of very large and very small organizations myself, I've been charged with making change happen. And what I've realized is that all the techniques that I learned, which are very useful, I'm not saying they're not useful, the most is when a crisis happens and when people's typical ways of being no longer work and rise up to be braver than they were before or suffer the consequences. So, and I do that, I've done that in my own life. I don't know if you've experienced this, Sandy, but the times when I really experienced personal growth was when I was faced with some kind of crisis, a death of somebody dear to me, a divorce, a health crisis, whatever, or being fired, or getting a new job that I really wasn't capable of performing, but I lied during the interview.
there's that.
I called it acting, but now I call it lying. So what I found was that my patterns, my habits, which keep me where I am, were really not useful. And so I was compelled to either step up or shut up.
Whoa. Big. You know, I'm thinking about this. There's a lot of lines that come to mind. Some of it, you either have to sink or swim, you know, and there's some that, you know, what you're talking about is rising to the occasion and being able to look at it even when you're on the other side of it. And what can you take away?
Yes. What can you learn?
But before you came on the show, I did ask my peeps what question they had for you. And this one young lady was saying to me, I want to be that person, but is it possible that my nature isn't that strong, because when she gets hit with catastrophe, she just wants to crawl in a hole and she doesn't know how to come out. So what should she do? Is that just her nature? She wants to know.
Yeah. Well, it may be her pattern and her temperament. What I tell clients, so I do executive coaching, and I have an organization that in particular I'm working with, where I was assigned to be the executive coach when somebody became a new leader.
Oh.
When you're a new leader and you've never managed people before, and you've never had to be strategic before, this is really challenging. And you feel like all eyes are on you. So the way I reframe that is, this is your opportunity to practice, not perform. All you're doing is I'll introduce you to a new skill, a new way of looking at something. But you're doing something for the first time, or this is a craft that requires seasoning, wisdom, but you don't have it because you've never done it. You've never been in that circumstance, perhaps. Then just do small things, like do small acts of courage that are a little bit out of your comfort zone, and try it on for size. And over time, you build confidence. Especially when you have guidance, whether that be from a coach, from a boss, from a colleague.
Yeah.
Wherever you can get that kind of guidance and a reminder that you're okay. You are really okay. This is about personal growth and evolving, because we're never done.
There's so many questions around that I got from my ladies. And the biggest thing is, and they keep hearing it over and over again, but a lot of them are high achievers. It's very difficult for them to admit when they have a new job that they don't have it all down. Because they think, I shoulda, coulda, woulda, and I'm afraid to reach out and say, okay, I don't have that skill. And I freaking love that you're saying, yeah, how could you? This is a whole new position. How would you develop this? Mm-hmm. So what do you say to people? Because, that over and over, I think some of them won't take positions because they're really scared they may not know something.
Right. Yeah, I've been in those shoes. I would get myself into, early in my career, would get myself into jobs I had never done before. How would I know how to do them? At the same time, I would look to learn. I would find someone I could look up to and lean on. I became very facile at getting bosses, even bosses who may not have been great bosses, to really take me under their wing, because I really listened to what they said and really let them know how much I appreciated this or that strength, or how they've given me guidance. So I looked for mentors. I was eager to learn, and people love when they can teach you. So using not knowing as a strength I have found, is really very helpful.
And you're right. I don't know why we hold ourselves back, because almost every time I've asked someone for guidance, they were excited to share their wisdom.
Yes.
Excited. All right, now let's tap into something you said there. You even learn from the not great bosses.
Oh,
is that true?
Yes, I have. And sometimes I must admit, in the beginning, I just resented bad bosses. I just resented them.
Yeah, understandable.
That is not useful. What I learned from I learned a lot from bad bosses. And one of the things was how to work with difficult people. Because in the world, that's the name of the game. And we meet people all the time who we need to collaborate with. We need to develop a relationship with them. Some of them are in our own families. And
Yes.
we don't know how to work with that person because we're stuck in our own patterns. And I have learned so much from bosses who were incompetent, were difficult, etc. And the way that I did that was similar to what I said before, which was calming myself down, not judging them, and looking for the light in them. Looking for something that they do that I appreciate and I can learn from, and then letting them know what that was. So it may be I'll never forget, I was with a new boss of mine, and he was a bit of a buffoon. And he would just talk. And at first I resented it. I really did, because I'd been with the organization for 9 years, and here he was coming in. He didn't know, the lay of the land. And so, my back got up. And so I stepped away, and then when I came back, I began to ask him questions to unpack what his point of view was. And something like, you've given me a lot of information here. If it's okay with you, I'd like to go away and think about that and apply it to this project. And then I would come back after I did do that and let him know, I wasn't seeing it your way, but I used what you told me, and here's what I did with it.
Love that.
All of a sudden, and it had to be sincere. It wasn't bullshitting them.
Yeah. I get it. You didn't make it up.
I did not make it up, because really the person who had to change was me.
Okay, elaborate.
Well, we can't change anybody. It's hard enough to change ourselves.
Lord, no, we tried.
We do. But what we can do is we can shift something inside of us. Either look at things from a different lens to reframe something, such as, all right, I'm new at this, but I'm going to look for opportunities to practice. Or, wow, this organization is really messed up. But how can I be the change that I want to see in this organization, and in my small way, make a difference? Calming myself down, finding ways not to respond emotionally to situations.
Yeah.
But really try to understand first, and also learn how to calm my nervous system so I don't react emotionally.
What a skill. I mean, there are so many people out there, and I understand it. My boss sucks. My boss is this. My boss is that. I hate my boss. I just had a really close friend, was really going up high in the company, and then they merged, and they brought somebody in half her age that knows nothing, and it's like almost everybody wants to quit.
Right.
Because they don't know what to do. I would love for that company to work with you, because not that person isn't we get it. But what can you get out of it while you're there? I mean, what a skill. What a skill. So what are some things that you do when you said you had to learn to calm your nervous system? So you're sitting there The guy's a big bobo head, acting all ridiculous. What did you do in that moment to calm yourself down? Or did you have to step away?
I had to step away under certain circumstances. So I would do that in a nice way. I mean, I would never disrespect a boss. I would never do that.
Mm.
It doesn't get you anywhere. Even if it feels good in the moment.
Yeah, I was going to say, it feels really good at the time.
Good. And I did do it once, and it turned out okay. But
okay.
But she'd been my boss for 5 years, and we had a relationship. Okay. So, and I learned from that, man. You learn from. Well, you know, typically what I'll do is first acknowledge the fact that all I can do is change myself. This is who this person is. I need to accept that. I need to accept this circumstance. Unless I want to leave. I mean, that's always an option. But right now, in this moment, you know, I'll breathe, I'll meditate. I mean, I have more tricks under my sleeve as I've, you know, because I've learned to calm my energy down. Mm. And I think the other thing that I do is, if I can't manage myself well, I will talk to someone, some neutral party that I trust, who can help me see things in a different way.
Yeah.
So who can smack me in the head, not literally, when I'm all up into my ego, or when I need somebody to set me straight.
Don't we all? Don't we all?
I have so many people that I turn to for guidance and help. And, you know, I'm going to be 69 years old, so I'm no kid, but I have more people that I turn to learn from, for guidance. And you're one of them, Sandy. We need each other. We need partners in our growth. And because we can't grow personally, and I don't believe we can do big things in the world unless we have support and guidance.
Amen. Amen, sister. Amen. I totally am 100% on board. But your true gift, and I mean, you have many gifts that you offer the world, but one that, when I met you the first time, struck me just so huge, is you at this luncheon with lots of people sitting next to me were intently listening to me. Like, you were really listening to me. And I think a lot of times people don't do that, especially when you're at a gathering. They're talking, but they're waiting to see who else, you know, they can get to, or what else is. And I think that you will actually make more connections, more lasting connections, not trying to get to everyone, but really intently listening with all of you. And I do think that's also a tool that you have to teach yourself, because when you're listening, you're bringing all of you to listen to that person.
Yeah.
That's huge. And I don't know if you've always been like that, Susan, or that it was developed skill. And I would love for you to give someone any advice on how they can do that, because I think it's really difficult. You know, one guy said, I want to do that, but I feel like I always have to think, okay, what am I going to say next so I sound intelligent? And I get that too.
Yeah, it's, I've refined this gift. I think it was a gift. And I think the gift is that I am really curious. Mm. And I'm fascinated about, how did this person arrive at that? That's so interesting. Or who is that person? Yeah. I get, maybe I'm just easily dazzled. Special,
easily entertained. I always say, I'm easily entertained.
I love quirky people. things that maybe other people would make judgments about, I think are endearing, and I let them know that. Yeah. So when I'm listening, when I'm really listening, I drop my own agenda and come from a place of curiosity and being in the moment. I'm not thinking about what's the next thing I'm going to say. I'm thinking about, I want to know you. I want to learn that.
Ah, that's a very big point, people. Listen to that. I'm going to keep rewinding that. You are sitting there with no agenda. Just curiosity to get to know that person, or what you and I have spoken about. We have a lot of same belief systems. We also have other ones that are, different. But when we each talk to one another, we want to learn why. Where did it come from? Not so I can tell you how wrong you are.
Right. The other thing I wanted to mention that occurred to me in this moment, because I don't have a script, right, is that...
Not like your keynotes where you have a script.
A bit. But what occurs to me is that we believe that the most powerful way we can influence is through our opinions. My experience is that the most powerful way we can influence is by making the other person feel seen, heard, and seen. Because that's what builds connection, and that's what builds trust. It's when people believe that you value them, they are so much more likely to relax their guard, relax their habits, allow themselves to be vulnerable. Not everyone, of course.
Yeah.
And so when I was early in my consulting career, it used to be, how am I going to impress this person? What should I say to them so I sound smart? Yeah. Especially when you're a rookie. You think that's what it's about, right? It is the opposite. It is the opposite. It's about asking good questions. Questions that are really from your curiosity. And really learning, because first of all, no one is going to use your advice, most likely, unless they're paying for it. And even then, they sometimes don't.
A lot of times.
We give advice unless we're doing it, we're a professional, we're doing it for a professional capacity. It's not even we're only responding to what we would do with the assumed given circumstances. We don't really know what's going on for this person. We're addressing the symptoms, the outwardness of what's going on for this person and what they say about it, not maybe what's really going on beneath the surface. So if you listen beneath the surface, if you get to know someone, if you get comfortable with silence, with being with someone, with connecting with someone at a deeper level, it's amazing what you can accomplish.
I mean, as much as we know that, especially for us yappers, you have to remind yourself of that, because a lot of times my best conversations, I really wasn't talking that much. I mean, sometimes I do need to get it off my chest. I mean, I do. But other times is when I didn't really say that much. Yeah. And I've had the best times.
Yes.
But sometimes we think in order for them to get to know us, we have to go, and it's not true. It's so not true. I think it might be a little difficult for me when you were talking about, that silence stuff.
Yeah.
That might be it's difficult. Like my son always says, my guide, Cole, was always saying, Mom, we don't have to talk the whole time we're in the car.
Yeah. And that just, what occurs to me as you're talking about this, that's why personal growth is a practice. life is a practice. We never get it right, especially because the habits and the behaviors that we've learned have helped us survive. And so much unconscious. So why would we even expect ourselves to merge into something with perfection? First of all, it's not, there is no such thing.
Yeah.
And and I have not always been good at any of this. And sometimes I'm not good when you know, I mean, we're human, right? I mean, at least last time I checked, I am.
I hope.
I hope. Yeah, it's being human is tricky. It is very messy and tricky. And I'm beginning to realize
that, I love that. I love it. It's very messy and tricky. I'm going to use that. I love that.
And maybe it's the humility that I have developed over the years, because having made so many mistakes and learn from many of them.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just have more of a sense of humor about myself, and I'm learning to be lighter.
Yeah. Isn't that the big one? That's such a big one. I'm always checking in if I'm saying, I should do that. I could have done that. Why didn't I know that? And I'm someone that does this all the time, every morning. I have a practice, but I still catch myself, you know, being caught up. Why didn't I do that the first time? How did I not know that? All the self-help books here, I should have gotten that down. Now, I teach everyone that's ridiculous, you know, when I'm done going into my next life. But I still have all these tools and all these practices that I do every single day, and people I surround myself to remind myself that I'm not in there all the time, but I want to be there more of the time.
More of the time.
More of the time. And to constantly, which I'm looking at this on your webpage, and I really want to get into this one remark because I think it's huge. That I believe we're here to discover who we really are, to develop our gifts and offer them to the world. I love this. I get tears. To live with meaning and purpose, to create lives that feed our soul. So, my one young gal wants to know, come on, Weston, you have to ask her, does she really believe we all have gifts to offer the world?
Yes.
We all do.
Yes.
Every single one.
Every single one. And I worked in a federal penitentiary.
She did. She's not making that up. She did.
Everyone.
If this young lady, oh gosh, she's texting me in, how can she start seeing that? Where should she go? Because right now she can't see any gifts. Now keep in mind, she's 17.
Oh, okay. Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that. We learn by taking action. We learn by doing things that, like trying things on for size and experimenting. You can't realize your gifts unless you're out there doing things and seeing how you can make an impact, and if it feeds your soul. I could be good at something, but I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's why I got out of, I was going to be a professional singer, but I didn't like the lifestyle.
Oh.
Huh?
You liked singing, but you didn't like the professional lifestyle.
Yeah, being on the road and not having a relationship, and that was the lifestyle. And probably, I mean, that was the reality of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I let young people know is now's the time to experiment. Do what you love. Volunteer somewhere. my one of my love daughters, she thought she wanted to go to medical school, and now she's singing.
Oh.
Her first public performance next month.
Wait, she's asking if you can call her parents.
What?
She doesn't think her parents are going to be that into it. They wanted her to go to medical school, blah, blah, blah.
No, she didn't want to. No, that wasn't even that. It was
no, young lady.
She went and took a singing lesson.
Oh.
And she went, I love this. I love it. She went out and she started dancing and doing things. And then she got the price of going to medical school.
Yeah.
But she wanted to have a family. And so she went, go to medical school, and then I won't be home for dinner, let alone have a family. So, yeah. But she took a science course to see if that was her thing.
Just to see, yeah.
See? Do you see? So you experiment. You can't. I've had so many different careers. Some of them not of my choosing.
By the way, I was saying, but just coincidentally, this young lady, her parents want her to go to medical school.
Aha.
And she said, "Can you tell Miss Sandler to call my parents?"
Yeah, that's, I'll say it here, just between you and me, Sandy, that is not parenting.
Nobody else heard you.
I know. No one heard. That's not what a good parent does. No.
She's very happy. Oh my God, I can't believe it. We went over the time, of course. Oh, I mean, so much valuable information. And for everyone listening, if you came in late or you didn't hear it, don't worry. After this, I'm going to record it and put it on all social media sites. So we would really appreciate it, wouldn't we? If they shared it, liked it, rated it, spread the word. But before we go, tell them everything. How can they find you? And are you taking coaching clients on?
Yes, I have openings for a couple of coaching clients.
Okay, because that's what they wanted to know.
Yes. But I only take coaching clients who are interested in doing the work. No, you really have to want to change.
Yeah, you have to be ready.
Yeah. So my website, which also will let you know if you want to book me as a speaker, etc., is susanlsandler.com.
And by the way, I really like your website.
Thank you.
And she's a freaking awesome keynote speaker too. So there's that. Theatrical. And believe me, it is theatrical. And I got to experience it firsthand. I mean, oh my God. You laugh, you cry, you pee your pants. You just do. So much fun. All right, thank you. I really appreciate it. What are you going to do the rest of the day? Anything good?
I don't have any plans, and that is wonderful.
Ooh, wait. That's another valuable lesson. She just said on air, I have no plans. And that is awesome. Ladies, if we just heard that for the month of March, Women's History Month, that would be huge. Huge. Thank you. I love you dearly.
I love you too, sweetheart. Bye, everyone.
All right, I got something to say. We love you. We appreciate you. And until next time, you know what I'm going to say. Toodles.